Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and we've got some good injury news, and unfortunately, we've got some bad injury news. Now, the joys of how I like to handle the show is I'm always going to be a pro-go show, so we're always going to look at the positives first. But you're going to want to make sure that you don't miss out on any Seahawks news. Some of this news actually broke early this morning. Guess what? We got short content out for you. So if you want to be up to date on the latest Seahawks news and you don't want to miss any of the conversation that we are going to have on the show, and you want to hear first so you can tell your other Seattle Seahawks fans what's going on, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll be breaking the news as fast as possible. Now, I'm always going to look at life glass half full. Hey, you rolled your ankle? The other ankle's still okay. Hey, you hurt your back? Well, at least your legs are still working. Hey, you didn't get what you wanted in that job? You still got another job. At least you're not unemployed. So we're going to jump into the good news to start the show first. Good news here with the injury report is it looks like you're going to get not one, but two of your favorite Seattle Seahawks back after both of them missed week one. Now, we're going to dive in first to Uchenna Nwosu. And I already told you, the brother is back. I love having Uchenna Nwosu out on the outside. He was a full participant in practice on Wednesday. It looks like he's on track to play. He missed, obviously, all of training camp and the first week dealing with a knee injury that he had surgery on in the offseason. Now, when you look at the last couple of years for Nwosu, when he has been healthy, he is a true game wrecker. When he hasn't been healthy, it's where you've seen some of those numbers kind of fall off. It's not like he's one of those players where, hey, he was healthy the entire time, but he wasn't doing anything. When Nwosu's out on the field, he will fly around and he'll make big-time plays. Now, the question still is, though, is Uchenna Nwosu going to be healthy enough to go out and play? Just because he was a full participant in practice doesn't mean that Mike Macdonald is ready to put him on the field. I mean, it was not even 5 days ago that the only thing we saw him doing was marching with the sled on his back. No pads, no nothing. So you got to hope that he continues to progress and he doesn't have a setback so that he can go on Sunday. But in my eyes, I would expect a very big performance from him if he's able to go against the Steelers because the Seahawks are going to use him sparingly. Now, that doesn't usually mean, hey, sparingly being used, big-time performance. But with Nwosu, you can use him in situations where he is going to attack the passer. I don't know if you know this. Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback over at Pittsburgh, he's old. Some might say ancient when it comes to NFL football years. If you're a 40-year-old quarterback in the NFL, it's like an 80-year-old real human being. If you can use Nwosu on third and longs, second and longs, now you're adding in an extra pass rush threat that you didn't have on an edge front that looked absolutely fantastic when you were playing against the 49ers. I loved everything that these edges did against San Fran on Sunday at home. Now you're telling me I'm going to get Uchenna Nwosu back? Watch the heck out. We're going to jump into what was going on with Jake Bobo, but first we got to talk about today's sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. I just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you can cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. I was playing Prize Picks this weekend. Unfortunately, should have been using the flex pay option. So, I cooked up a little lineup on Prize Picks for this weekend's game against the Steelers. Cooper Kupp, I think he's getting more than 37.5 yards. I loved how the Seahawks defense played. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to punt more than 3.5 times. And Jackson Smith-Njigba did everything but get in the end zone. I think he's getting in the end zone more. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. All right, America's second sweetheart right behind Robbie Oots, Jake Bobo. We all love him here in Seattle, and he was a big miss going into week 1 against the 49ers. Obviously, he was dealing with a concussion, a scary one at that he suffered when he was returning punts in preseason game number 3 against the Green Bay Packers. He was a full participant so far this week in practice. That is absolutely massive. What Jake Bobo lacks in speed, he definitely makes up for in size and catching ability. He had 2 catches in the preseason. Guess what? They were both touchdowns. I understand that he's not going to be the blazing deep threat that Seattle kind of frankly needed against the 49ers, but what he does give you is another big play threat when it comes into the red zone. He's bigger and stronger than most of the corners that you are going to go against at that wide receiver position. Now you're telling me that I get him back and I can also use him in the run game? The run game was atrocious this last week. What can you do as a wide receiver to help that run game out? Well, first of all, you can catch a lot of passes. But the other thing that you can do is add into the game as a run blocker. Getting Jake Bobo back this week will be massive. They haven't completely cleared him, but in my eyes, when you are a full participant in practice, especially going through the concussion protocol, I like the signs pointing to you playing on Sundays. Now, unfortunately, I can't avoid it any longer. I have to look at the bad news. I can't put my head in the sand anymore, and I have to dive into maybe the scariest injury update news that I think I've seen in the past week for the Seattle Seahawks. And that's Devon Witherspoon not practicing at all, dealing with a knee injury. And then Julian Love, probably your best defensive player against the 49ers. Well, he was a limited participant dealing with a groin injury. Let's dive into the scary times first. Devon Witherspoon missed the entire practice, and he's dealing with a knee injury. Whenever I hear knee and I hear a player in the secondary, my heart instantly stops because it's not like an offensive lineman where, hey, your knee's banged up. Well, guess what? You put a brace on it and you go out there and you figure it out. You need to be able to run. You need to be able to move around. Devon Witherspoon having a knee issue so bad that it kept him out of practice, I worry. He's not old enough yet for us to push the panic button and say, hey, he's had knee injuries in the past. We need to freak out. It's worry time. He's not going to play. But I definitely have the panic button out, and I'm kind of like, looking at it, giving it a kind of a look over. Hey, we're not there yet, but maybe, possibly. He's not at a point in his career like TJ Watt for the Steelers, for example, where he just sat out of Wednesday's practice because he needed a veteran day. Devon Witherspoon, he's only been in the league 3 years. He shouldn't need a veteran day. Now here's where my other fear comes in. When you have Devon Witherspoon out, you have to remember that more than likely means that Riq Woolen is coming in. Because right now, the way that Mike Macdonald has been talking about Riq Woolen, it sounds to me like Josh Jobe has earned that right cornerback spot. That left cornerback spot is going to go to Devon Witherspoon. And originally, the plan was for that big nickel spot to be Nicky Emmanwori. Well, if Nicky Emmanwori is out, like I'm already kind of projecting, and Devon Witherspoon's out, I don't know who you turn to. Are you going to trust Nehemiah Pritchett? Are you going to trust Kendricks out there? I don't know if we're there yet. That means you have to trust Riq Woolen. Didn't go well. I've got my fingers crossed. Hopefully I'm overreacting. Every once in a while I can be hyperbolic. Every once in a while I can go too far. Hopefully it's just one of those things. Hey, his knee was banged up. We're going to have him sit out a Wednesday. Thursday he'll be a limited participant. By Friday he's good, ready to go. That is for Devon Witherspoon. But right now, I'll tell you what, I don't feel good when I put my head on the pillow and go to sleep, especially if Devon Witherspoon's not able to go against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now this one, honestly, it's a gigantic kick to the groin. When it rains, it pours. It doesn't get better for the Seahawks because your best defensive player on Sunday, in my eyes, was Julian Love. He was flying around the field, had a bunch of tackles, had a tackle for loss. He had your one sack in the game, which was very impressive. And now he's out, or at least a limited participant in practice with a groin injury. That's scary times for me. When you look at how he played in this game, he was everywhere. It felt like every other play that I was talking about the Seahawks and who was making a tackle, who was coming in, making a big play stop, it was Julian Love. He's excelled since he's come over and started playing for Mike Macdonald in this defense where you allowed the safety to kind of roam free. He can play the run. He can also play the pass. It's whatever he sees. Now, when you look at the safety position, more fear really comes in because the true backup to Julian Love would again be Emmanwori. He would just jump in. Emmanwori's got a high ankle sprain. We're not going to see him. That means you're going to see Dakota. Guess who got burnt multiple times? Guess who was out at safety against George Kittle? George Kittle looked at him in the red zone and said, hey, Brock, I'm open. Give me the ball. I'm going to get in the end zone. And that's exactly what happened. So now what we're saying is you're probably going to have to go with Dakota if Julian Love isn't able to go, or if Julian Love is going to need more substitutions and needs more time off. I loved how Dakota played in the preseason, but guess what? That was against 2s and 3s. He's a very strong 2. He's a great special teams player. But he's not a guy that you're going to want to play in a must-win game. And in my eyes, this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it is a must-win. You're already down one player in the secondary, one key impactful player in the secondary. You can't lose another player there. I don't know what you got to do to get Devon Witherspoon and to get Julian Love back and 100% healthy, but I'll tell you right now, I'm worried about it. I'm a little bit freaked out. By the way, if they're going to sign anyone, I would assume they'd bring D'Anthony Bell up from the practice squad to fill out that role in that safety spot. He was fine in the preseason. There's a reason why he's on your practice squad. Look, I'd say right now I'm probably at a 7.5, 8 out of 12 when it comes to my panic meter. Maybe I'm getting a little bit closer to that 9 mark, 10 mark. I'm not quite there yet, but I want to know what you guys say. Let me know in the comments section what your nervous level is. Are you at a 1, not nervous at all for this game against the Steelers? Or are you at a 12, it's full-blown panic time? Let me know, and we'll talk next time.